went to Denmark, and he was reading a book before his fight. I said to Joey, "Oh my God, is he reading a book before a fight?" I couldn't believe it because people get misconceptions, right? You can't. Everybody is unique in their own way, and you're very unique and very introspective and powerful, and you're very different from some fighters that I know. So that's kind of remarkable. Where you get that from your mom, from your dad? What do you think?
I think when it comes to everything that is associated to boxing, I get it from my former trainer, Vasily. He was like a father to me. He raised.
Father figure.
He was the father figure to me. Yeah, when I didn't have anyone else around me, he was the one that took care of me and trained me.
Right.
So you know, he learned me a lot, not only about boxing but also outside of the ring. So most of the psychological things and stuff, you know, I talked with him, and he taught me a lot, and I learned a lot from him. So, for example, this reading a book before the fight, it was his idea. He told me, you know, I was very nervous when I was younger, before a fight, and he was like, you know what, just sit down, read a book, and before a fight, like when...
It will take your mind away a little
Exactly, exactly, but also it will keep your mind fresh, because he told me that when you're reading a book, your mind is working. So, like, if I would read a book and then afterwards go into a fight, I would have a fresh mind.
Right.
That was his idea, and you know, I did it for the first time, and I did one of the greatest fights I ever done. So you know, I kept it up. I let it stick.
Yeah,
so.
Very impressive. I said, "Oh my God, is he reading a book or it's just me?" I was so sleepy. You know, when you go to a hotel and you hang out with the fighters and you get up in the morning and you go and you get up and brunch is ready and you're there and I'm there with Joey and I have my glasses because I don't want anybody to see my face, and then I look to the left and I say, wait a second, is that Anthony? Is he reading a book? Yes, he's reading a book. He's a very different kid, and I know you are. Let me ask you something. What do you think of women boxing? Like, women in the boxing world, women as fighters, like Clara. We know Clara. We're sending a love to our girl too.
Right.
What do you think of women throwing a punch?
You know, as a women boxing, I don't have nothing. I don't have any problems with that. I think it's great that people have the same goals and dreams as I have. I can relate to that. It doesn't matter if it's women or men. But if we have to go to women, you know, it's like they are very strong, you know, psychologically, very strong. I've noticed that. Yeah, if you like, you met Clara.
Yeah.
She's a very strong woman, very strong, and I think
very beautiful too.
Yeah.
So beautiful, God.
You know, I don't think she would be able to do anything else but boxing. She's you know, very beautiful. It's true, but she would never be able to play soccer or football or tennis. You know, she's a boxer. You can see it on her personality. She's very strong.
Right.
She has to go up in the ring. She has to show her strength to everyone else.
Right.
So you know, you can see that by talking to women boxers. Yeah. You can kind of understand why they chose boxing.
Right.
Yeah.
It's kind of hard for me to watch it. I gotta tell you, when I saw that girl that Clara was fighting against, I said to myself, "Oh my God, where do these women get the guts to get up and throw a punch?" I mean, guys. I mean, let's face it. Let's talk turkey. Let's cut the bullshit. Okay, throwing a punch is something that is very grotesque, right? I mean, it's just a violent sport. Once you see blood, what happens to you as a fighter? Obviously, you're in the zone and you're locked in, and your job is to fight, and your job is to deliver, and your job is to rise to the occasion and be the best that you can be. But what happens when you start getting hurt, when you feel a cut, when you see the blood dripping? What does it happen to you guys inside? Or you have to just block it out, and you are like, oh, well, it's not happening. This is what we do. This is who we are.
The thing is that boxing is a sport for people to watch, but the thing they see is two people punching each other.
Right.
They don't see or feel what the boxers feel. That's why for us it's such a deep sport. It's more than just punching for us. You know, it's the trainings before. It's the you know the will to succeed, the will to be the best, or you know you're aiming to become a world champion. These kind of things, like, you know, when you go in the ring and you're fighting someone and you know that I've trained hard for this, you know, I've done everything I can to be here, and now let's see if I've done enough, you know, I deserve this, I have to win. And at the same time, you have the other guy or woman in the other corner that thinks the same.
Right.
I've been here, I've done everything I can, you know. So you have two people measuring themselves on how hard they've been training, how much they've been sacrificed, you know.
Right.
And that's what we see, you know, when we are fighting each other. So, for example, if we go back to, like, if we get hurt, for example, you know, if I get hurt, if the guy starts punching me, I get hurt. I'm starting to, usually, I'm not blocking it out. I'm starting to think, I'm starting to draw strength from that, you know. I'm like, okay, wait, I got hit now, I got punched. I need to understand what I did wrong. Why is he stronger than me? Why is he faster? I need to watch. I need to see what his weaknesses are, because I just fallen into his strengths, right? So I start to, you know, it's very hard when you're not when you don't have the how can I explain it? Yeah, for example, if I haven't done enough fights, like for example, I have 8 fights now.
But you have how many fighters as an amateur?
130.
And 30, that's
but
a lot.
But you know, it's very different from pros. I didn't think that at first. I was like, okay, now
it's gonna be similar,
yeah,
but
you know, I was like, I have a lot of fights, it will be no problem. But no, I was wrong. So that's another thing. That's another thing that shows my inexperience in professional boxing. So when I go into the professional ring and I start to get hurt, I start to get beaten, the inexperience or the experience will show. If I get beaten and I am experienced enough, I can start to look for his weaknesses and start to think, okay, this is his strengths, that's why he's beating me, so I'm gonna turn it around.
Right, what kind of adjustments? You see, now I'm getting too analytical. I'm proud of myself, Arthur. I feel some smoke coming out of my ears, but I'm doing my job because I'm a smart woman, pretty too, Arthur. Just remember that, I keep it in the QT. When you do something in the ring, or let's say when you go and you fight the way you fight, then you go back to reality. If you have a chance to see the tape, if you have a chance to see the fight, right, you will watch it, and then you will go home and say, okay, let me sit down and see my work, right? Do you sit down with your trainer and you go over your own work? What kind of adjustments, like what kind of stuff? I know we're not supposed to talk about that, but I'm kind of like, wanted to hear about, let's say, what Joey would tell you after a training session. If, which is a big if, he sees you struggling or he sees you that you're doubting yourself, what kind of adjustments he would make?
Yeah, for example, what I noticed with Joey is that he's a very positive trainer. You know, you can have the negative ones too that always
they beat you up.
Exactly. Joey's the opposite. He's the opposite of what I'm used to. So that was pretty new to me. You know, he started to tell me what my strengths are, what I'm good at, and he started to tell me, yeah, this is good. We have to work more on that. So what Joey does is that, for example, if I'm good at something, he's developing it to be better.
Right.
So when I had my first fight with Joey, I mean boxing fight, you know, he analyzed the fight on spot. We didn't watch it afterwards because we didn't got the tape. But he analyzed it on the spot, and afterwards, when we went back to the training,
he would tell you.
He would tell me, yeah, this was very good. You were good at this, and we're gonna develop that.
Right.
So we started, instead of, you know, he started beating me down on everything that I did back. Exactly. He started telling me everything that was good with me. You know, you did this good and that. You know, we're gonna develop that to be better.
So then we concentrate too much on the bad negativity and the energy instead of going to the other side and see the beautiful side and see the skill, the ability, because you need to be inspired.
Exactly.
What inspires you, Anthony? What drives you nuts? I want you to get wild because you're too calm, man. I'm trying to get you wild, but I can't. What drives you nuts? What kind of boxers turn you on? What kind of work makes your heart beat? Like, say, oh, I want to be just like him. I want to be just like her. What kind of work? What kind of fighters turn you on? What kind of trainers turn you on?
The thing is that I like to be inspired by my surrounding. So, like, for example, I'm training with I got signed by Sauerland Promotions.
Yes,
and
a big shout out to them because they're doing a wonderful job in Denmark.
Right.
I gotta tell you.
So they have a lot of good fighters and a lot of world champions.
Great fighters.
Yeah, European champions. And when you're training around them, when you see them train, you're like, wow, this is real. I'm here, you know, I'm with them. So I have to step it up. I have to be as good as them. So I have to train hard. I have to be focused, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And that's something you didn't have as an amateur, because as an amateur, you didn't get any credit for what you did. So everybody was kind of doing their own thing. But now you're like, you know, you're training with world champions, and suddenly you're with all these guys that have done all that's possible in boxing, you know.
Right.
And they are still developing. They still want to be better and stronger. And when I see that, I'm getting this urge in me. I'm like, I want to be like them. Yeah, I want to train like them. When I see someone, like when I'm doing a training session, I'm thinking, yeah, now I'm done. But then I see that the other guys, they go and do sit-ups, they do something else, they start working on their rights or lefts, hooks or uppercuts. I'm like, whoa, okay, this is not finished. Now you're gonna train by yourself. This is what separates the ordinary from the extraordinary, you know?
Well said, you're bright. Look, the show is almost done. We got 2 minutes away. I can't believe it, this is insane. And you see, I gotta tell you that I brought my boy to